Welcome to Crisis. Wait. Get it together. Collect the sticks. All right. Welcome to Crisis with
Kira
and Isis. How you guys?
Hello.
How are you feeling today?
Good.
Today is about feelings.
All warm and fuzzy.
Really?
Not warm. I don't know, but like a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I'm about to start my period, so I feel all welly.
Welly?
Like I'm like welled up. You know what I mean? Like if
Oh.
you well up with emotion.
Oh.
Welly. I've never said that before, but I feel like that's a good way to.
Express it. Pent up emotions?
No, but I was like, okay. So I toured the ED department on Wednesday. Did I tell you about the draft day?
I have
Oh my
no
God.
idea what you're talking about in any capacity. I can start from the
Erectile
top.
dysfunction.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. The emergency department.
Oh. I was like,
The
really?
erectile dysfunction department. The EDD. Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like most people say ER, but I feel like in the medical world, like they say ED more than anyone else. And I feel like the general pop says ER way more.
Well,
but like
because we're
ER,
going to the
ED.
emergency room.
Well, it's saying, yeah.
I'm not walking into the emergency department.
Yeah. So I went to like talk to all the units about nurse apprenticeships. And then they
You were
like,
prompted to do this, or you did this on your own accord?
yeah, they like, well, we didn't have to, but they were like, you should, wink, wink, like you have to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to all the like units, and I got some really good information, got some good contacts, which is good. I think it like was really successful. But anyways, then we were like touring the place, and they like showed us the emergency department and like the trauma room. And they were just talking about, like, you know, how when there is an actual trauma and, like, how many people are in the room and how it's, like, crazy and, like, whatever. But so I was like, whatever. But it wasn't like that at the time. It was just an empty room. So I was like, you know. And then, like, the emergency department itself, dude, it's, like, almost even worse than, like, I don't know. I complain so much about not having windows in, like, the regular floors. But the emergency department's even, like, more like a dungeon. It's, like, it's just so...
It really is a dungeon.
Ugh, and it's just so big, and like I just feel like it's
kind of warehousey.
It's kind of hard, yeah. And it's like hard to even to find the exit to like the outside, and so it just I don't know. It feels claustrophobic, which I really don't like. But then the next day, I was in the PICU, the pediatric ICU, and really slow day. Actually, I was like, it was honestly so boring. Like,
Was it depressing seeing the sick babies?
Or
Or are they just not that sick? Were there really sick ones, or they were just like premature and random things?
I don't know. I had like a little girl that had like 2 casts on her legs. She had a bunch of other problems, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm just imagining like tubes and things and breathing things and feeding things.
Yeah, not that bad. Not that I had. We only had like 1 patient for half the day. And then, like, you don't want to go in there because they just are, like, pissed off. And, like, so you want to, like, cluster their care. And then, like, I'm not going to test out my skills on a 4-year-old. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I was bored. And then at the end of the day.
So you see why the other people were bored last week with the ones that were there before you? Because you said they did not seem enthusiastic about it. When I had asked you if you were excited, and you were like, nobody seemed excited after.
Right. Exactly. So, I could see, like, you know, it would be, I think, fine as, like, a job, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Right,
chill. It is, like, a nicer population, in my opinion. I'm used to working with kids, like, whatever. But then, at, like, the end of the day, like, there was, like, a couple hours left, and we heard that there was a trauma coming into the emergency department, and it was, like, an 8-year-old who got her, like, bottom lip ripped off by a dog. I know. And then my nurse was like, do you want to go down and see it? And I was like, yeah. So I went down and saw it, and it was bananas, and there was like a bunch of people in there, and they're yelling out blood pressure, and like I didn't see, they like took off her gauze for like a second, but like the other way, and like the Ramsey student saw it, and she said you could like see her like chin bone, oof, and just like her teeth, oof, which I couldn't see because she had like gauze over it, but my nurse like literally took her chin, like her just whole ass chin, and like we had to put it on ice So she like puts her chin.
Oh,
on
you guys recovered the the mouth, the lip. Like
yeah.
Oh, that's nice. If it's recovered, that's
yeah.
beneficial.
Yeah, I don't. Well, they apparently shot the dog on site.
How old was the dog? Was it a big dog, small dog?
I don't know. Oh no, I heard that it was like the mom's boyfriend's dog. Oh, it's freaking mom's boyfriend's dog though. I think it happened in.
And they brought her all the way over here.
They care flighted her.
Oh my god.
Anyways, but
the medical bill.
But your stupid dog.
We'll second back to the dog situation. Keep going.
So yeah, her chin, which was insane. Oh my gosh. And then we put it on ice. I had to go get ice, so that was my really important duty. It felt great. And then like I could just barely see into her gauze and kind of saw like the cut and like her teeth and could imagine the rest. Poor girl, bro. I don't know what happened. They were like taking her to the OR to like try to reattach it. So I don't know. I don't know how successful it was or what happened, but
oh, that poor girl.
I know. But after this, I was like, it was so oddly invigorating.
Of course.
I was like, wow,
I like trauma.
And like it made me like rethink whether or not I should put that as like maybe an option for like my apprenticeship, which I'm still not like, I don't know, because it was like very like interesting and exciting. But I'm just like really trying to think about the day-to-day ED stuff and just like a bunch of illness and like it is like a lot more fast-paced.
I think it'd be good for your training. So since an apprenticeship is meant to be short, I think having
exactly. I think it would be right. I think it would be right. Exactly. It could be really good for my apprenticeship. You know, just like short time.
And it's a lot of variety.
Even if I really don't like it, like it's really just not going to be that long, so it doesn't really matter, and it would just be so different from what I want to do that I don't know.
And I think there's a lot of variety that's going to come in. You'll be in the
yeah.
I just think for training purposes, it's good. So then I think it would give you better variety than being like, well, I just did labor and delivery and now I want to continue to. It's harder for you to like pivot. But if you do like ER, then you have a lot more skills and a lot more exposure to things that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I
And
just think it could
considering
be really
so many factors at once, I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really.
Yeah.
Well, that's so exciting. I'm really happy you had that experience. I feel really sad for the child. But, like that's the thing. So many small things like that will have irreversible consequences. And, like, that was, like, that thing with Drew's friend when we were at his best friend's girlfriend's house and her dog was in my face. And I was like, I don't like the dog being in my face.
I know.
And then she was like, we don't consider begging bad behavior. I was like, it's not about bad behavior. It's that I'm a human being and this is my face.
Yeah, and
like,
that's an animal.
And that's an animal. And everyone...
that I don't know very well.
And just because everyone here wants to validate the dog is well-trained, guess how many times that boyfriend said, my dog's not going to do anything.
Exactly.
People usually don't fuck around and find out what dogs they know are going to do something. Those dogs are usually put away. It's oftentimes dogs that are...
have never done
harmless.
Something before.
Yes, dogs are deemed harmless that do something.
Yeah, it obviously usually happens to children because adults don't provoke things like that because they know that it's an animal. But it's like, you know, you're still like, it's not the child's fault because you are the one who gave it a false sense of security with this dog.
And I don't have a false sense of security with any dog, not even my own. Dogs are, like, I'm not... Like, my face is too valuable for me to potentially get bitten for any reason. What if someone just wanted to, like, push the dog and the dog yelped at me? Or what if the dog went for the food and I pulled it back? And I don't know.
Yeah, it's unpredictable. It's just, no.
It is not worth my...
That's why it's insane when, like, we have just such God, I don't even know I don't know what's, like, a good word for it. We have such, like, a humanization culture of dogs, especially with like millennials and not having kids and just having dogs and treating their dogs like they're kids, and like it's just we've like
personified.
Yeah, I mean, like humanized them. You know what I mean? Like to the point where it's like almost to the point where it's like you can't treat a dog like it's an animal.
Right.
Because they're like, how dare you? This is like as if it were like a person and you're trying to like
as if it was a 3-year-old
it.
that you're trying to dehumanize versus the fact that it's actually not a human.
And so it's just crazy. And it's like, I feel like we have so much shame around, like being cautious of dogs or like.
Well, I feel like I have to treat people's dogs like I would treat their children. But it's like if your dog jumps on me, I still feel like I have the right to kick it.
Right.
But if your child jumps on me, I understand that you don't want me kicking it. Like, fine, it's a human. I probably shouldn't kick it.
Yeah,
but
you
your
know
dog
how to deal with
shouldn't.
it.
But your dog can do more damage to me than your 3-year-old
right.
can.
You know the ability of a 3-year-old. Dogs are so unpredictable, and like.
It's something I hate, especially after being in Armenia and like where so many people are terrified of dogs, especially big dogs, and they're disgusted by household animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like they find it gross.
Mm-hmm.
So then to like come back here where everyone like just is so. I'm just the thought of having a child and having to tell someone with a big ass dog like get your dog, and then that being like a contested issue makes me want to just punch people.
Right, especially then around your children, like trying to protect your children.
Like I can't protect myself, but it's how
like
where's the threshold?
You're especially, oh my god, now that I think about this, it's honestly kind of gross how like. And, it's the same thing. It's the opposite, like in Armenia. I'm sure you'll talk about it. But it's like how unwelcoming we are to children and how overwelcoming we are to pets. It's like my 3-year-old gets to come into the cafe. Your fucking dog doesn't.
Precisely.
But America, thinks the complete opposite. Like,
yeah. No, and it's
which is
weird.
insane.
Because it's like, who decided that dogs have more of a right and a privilege than children?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's weird to have your child out at the bar or at the restaurant at 10 o'clock at night, but it's not absolutely insane to have your dog everywhere that I eat food.
Yeah.
Are you serious? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying start kicking dogs out of places. I'm just saying, like, there just needs to be, like, there needs to be like a PSA that goes on TV for the next, like, 10 years that reminds people that they're still animals.
Yeah, right. I just don't think people realize how actually gross it is. Not that dogs are, like, just inherently gross, because they kind of are. But which I would, like, I don't know. I have differing opinions about that and having, I don't know. Because, like, your immune system and whatever, I don't know. but, like, how gross it is just the way we view dogs and children and treat them, like, in public. And
like, I love the animals at the funny farm. They stay outside. Except, like, maybe your brother's dog comes in and out. But, like, they all are, like, outside.
Yeah.
They're
right,
all
like
animals. And, like, I'm not saying your dog shouldn't come inside and shouldn't be part of the family, like, for sure. But it's, like, the fact that I have to feel uncomfortable. And this is the other thing. People with small dogs don't train their dogs properly. And they have, like, and they do things that big dogs would be put down for because big dogs don't have the privilege of acting like that without harming people.
Yeah.
So then you have a little dog that has the worst behavior ever.
Yes.
And gets to get away with it because it's small, which is just terrible. And then you've got big dogs that, yes, are most likely oftentimes better behaved, but because they have good behavior, they're now seen as non-threatening and non-harmful. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is all delirious delusion.
Right.
That, like...
And I don't... And no pet owner...
Yeah, somebody...
Ever.
My coworker was saying that she hasn't spent the holidays with her brother because her sister-in-law... She has, like, a big old, like, husky or something.
Wait, your coworker?
Yeah, my coworker. And she was saying she hasn't been able to go over to her family's for, like, Christmas or whatever because they have, like, a husky or something. And she has, like, a 3-year-old. And she's like, I'm not having my 3-year-old around this, like, poorly behaved husky. And the sister-in-law was like, well, this is my child. Like, I'm not going to exclude my child from its house. Like, this is where it belongs. And she was like, great, I'm just not coming. And it's like, that is so insane that you're that delirious about where your dog belongs in this world.
Yeah, like stands.
And then, she was also complaining. She's like, she had a service animal who was, like, actually trained as a service animal. And that one passed away and this one isn't a service animal. And she puts the service animal vest on him. And it's like, you see those videos of, like, people, like, having to put down their service animal because non-service animals fucked with it. because, you know, as human beings, we're not allowed to mess with service animals. We're not supposed to pet them. We're not supposed to engage. And then people have poorly trained dogs, and they don't understand that their dog's not supposed to fuck with service animals either. And then something happens, and now a nice, good dog is going down because you're just so selfish.
Did they automatically, like, get put down?
They can either, like, be removed from service or like, especially because if they get, like, a PTSD response from, like, whatever happened, they're unable to continue doing their job.
Right.
So say another dog comes at your service animal and your service animal fights and whatever happens, doesn't even matter what the end result is. If your dog is now threatened by other dogs, your dog can no longer continue doing its actual purpose. So then it's like more of a risk than it is a reward. Right. And maybe they won't put it down, but they might decommission its service. And it's just like, you're just being selfish. Yeah.
That's so unfortunate because it takes it just takes so many resources to train service dogs.
Well, that was the other thing. The dog, Drew's girlfriend's dog, it was in training to be a service dog. But then he couldn't do it because of like some heart murmur or something. Okay. So everyone in the room is like, well, this dog was going to be a service dog. But it's like, but it's not. And if it was, it wouldn't be allowed to beg.
Yeah.
If it was, it would not be begging.
Yeah, it'd be out of my face.
Exactly. This would not be allowed as a service dog, so it's not acting like one. So I'm not going to sit here and be delusional and act like it is one. Yeah. Because it went through some training.
Like, oh, I went to med school and dropped out, so I'm a doctor. Like, what?
Great analogy, Kira. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Ugh. And I just hate it because it's just like, I feel like you just automatically seem like you hate dogs. And it's like, fuck you. Like, I love dogs. I love pets. I've always had them. Like, but you're just like, but I'm not gonna like go along with delusional category. Like that's where I draw the line. And it's like, if this conversation sounds so parallel to like other political discussions. Like, if you want to call me a dog hater now, fine, but I'm not gonna.
I'm just saying socially it shouldn't be acceptable.
50 years ago, I would have been seen as a freaking dog activist lover.
And like, okay, this is another thing that like back to Armenia, they used to kill the stray dogs. Like, just gut them down in the street, night. And they passed a law that they can't do that anymore. So there's still a lot of stray dogs in Armenia, but significantly less than I guess there were historically. And they spay, neuter, and give them their shots. People to this day are terrified of these dogs. Like, locals are terrified. Like, they will cross the street. They will do everything to, like, disengage. And then there's, like, Drew and all the other tourists that, like, la, 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 go play with the dogs. And you could see the locals look at you like you're disgusting. Because they're like, what is wrong with you? And then, you know, so it's, like, cool in that sense because we're more, like, sympathetic to these creatures.
Yeah.
And, like, that's really cute. But, like, we don't take them home either.
Right.
Like, they're still, and these are, like, smarter dogs than the ones that people have at home. Like, these dogs look both ways before they cross streets. Like, they are literally, like, for the streets. And, like, when you, like, try to feed them, if you're not feeding them, like, meat, they don't want it. Like, Drew would try to give them potatoes, and they would just, like, walk away.
Yeah. Even, like, the Remsa student that I was with was like, oh, people will still say that, like, it was the dog's fault. And I get, like, you shouldn't also allow your child to, like, terrorize animals. Your dog's full grown. It's not a puppy anymore. And your child's a child. And it only knows as well as the parent has taught it. And so, yeah, it's like the parent. Entirely the parent's fault, especially because it was, you know, a family dog or whatever. It's like, you allowed this dog to be on a child. You also allowed your child to act this way. With this
well, it's
dog.
like back to like the Juan situation and the
but
dog
it's definitely
biting
not
you.
The child's fault.
Juan's dog biting you. It wasn't the dog's fault. It was my fault because I was told better than to let people just walk in. He had told me multiple times. The problem is the dog. The thing is, the dog had an issue, and I was aware of it.
It's not my or the dog's fault.
Right. It was neither one of yours fault. It was my fault.
It's you and Juan's fault.
Precisely. It was the cognizant adults that were aware of the situation that it did not mediate it from happening. So
the adults, not me.
Well, no, but the cognizant adults, the ones that were aware of the situation. You had no awareness that you're going to walk into a house where a dog may bite
for
you.
the 50th time.
Whereas I completely disregarded the fact because I see the dog every day that nothing happens. I completely disregarded the fact that this dog might actually bite you because it just did not. Even though the dog had done so twice before, it seemed unrelated and unparalleled, and I just didn't plan for it. And so when Juan was like, I told you so, it's like, again, does the dog deserve to be put down because it bit you? No, it was my fault. But again, we still have a dog that is more violent than it needs to be. That dog didn't need to be in that environment. So the dog doesn't need to be put down. It just needs to not be in that kind of environment. Like if Juan lived by himself and didn't have guests over, that's fine.
Right.
But because it was in that environment,
insane.
Precisely.
That it lived in that house.
With how much commotion and
like what a terrible
place.
Sense of judgment on everyone's part.
Yep.
In that house.
Yep.
Awful.
Yep. And the dog doesn't deserve to die for that. But you don't deserve to get bit. It is all that. That's why this is like, it's still an animal. If we thought about the fact that we had 3 animals in the house, no one would have fucked around and found out. But they're not treated like the animals. They're just treated like guests and roommates. And like, it's just much their couch as it is my couch. Right.
And it's like, Janelle's never bitten anyone. ever.
Could you imagine someone like walked through like, fuck, bro, your roommate bit you.
Your roommate runs to the door and jumps on him and bites him. Oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be some good shit.
Or even like your 3-year-old doing that.
like a running.
Dude, I bet people, it would be like in the newspapers and it'd be like, put this down. Like, put them down.
Psychotic 3-year-old running jumps. Name the biting flying squirrel.
Oh my gosh. Literally people get put in jail and asylums for less than fucking dogs do. I swear to God.
You're correct.
Like, they let those things sleep in their beds with them. And people are in jail and the nut house for less. Like, make that make sense. Please.
Oh.
Also, I was going to say, like, even like, well, the problem with children and dogs is also, like, even just playing. Like, even big dogs just trying to, like, the husky and, like, the 3-year-old.
It's too much.
It's, like, even if it's not even aggressive, it's just trying to play you could potentially freaking break your 3-year-old's leg.
Or head. Just push it
head.
down.
Right, exactly. You can just knock it over.
You can knock it onto an edge. Like, it just...
Right. Like, the dog that ripped this girl's face off could have easily also been playing.
Yeah. We have no idea. But that's the thing.
Also,
that's
like,
where
playing
the disconnect
usually
is.
leads to aggression.
Yeah.
So it's because it's like you don't know what's gonna trigger this dog, and so you're playing with it, and you accidentally, poke it in the unpokeable spot, and then like, next thing you know,
it's literally around and find out.
Fido turns into Fighter,
and nobody.
Fido turns into Fido.
But like, people don't around and find out what people's cats. You don't go around just grabbing people's cats, and people are terrified to for people's cats.
Right.
And cats do way less damage. Like, cats have never done as much damage as dogs have.
Never.
Never.
When was the last time you read in the newspaper?
Cat takes out eyeball. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They're just notorious for, like, eating grandma after she, like, passes.
So this is the other thing. You, like, know monkeys, like how you can have a pet monkey? And it's, like, the worst idea in the world.
Uh-huh.
Anyone listening, don't ever buy a pet monkey. It's literally just a bad idea. They're permanent toddlers.
Are you speaking from experience?
Well, because the state of Nevada, you can own any animal for the most part. So Nevada is notoriously known for having exotic pets that people buy and then not knowing what to do with them. And they got to get rehoused, and it's problematic. And this is like the land of people getting mauled by shit they shouldn't have owned in the first place. Yeah. So it's not personal experience. It's just we just so happen to be in that state.
It's made the headlines.
Well, yeah, and because you can have anything in Nevada because it's very rare that you're going to bring anything here that'll fill up the biodiversity because everything dies.
Right.
Except horses.
Yeah.
Those invasive fuckers. But like Hawaii, for example, they don't let you bring anything. Like if your pet, no exotic animals, like you can't bring it there.
Oh, right. You can't even bring, like, apples.
Yeah,
from
they're like,
California.
don't bring anything over here. But Nevada, they're like, oh, lion? Bring it. Sphinx? Not the Sphinx. What's the other cat? The more lynx? Is it a lynx cat? It's like it's like cat size, big cat size. No, small cat. It is
house cat size.
House cat size.
But it's
it's a wild animal.
I think lynxes are
right?
like that.
Yeah. So anyways, kangaroos you can buy in Nevada, like all the shit. So anyways, so monkeys are notoriously known for being bought, but then people don't know what to do with them. And this is the thing. One of the downsides of buying a monkey is your monkey will go around and harm somebody.
Right.
Like they're still a wild animal.
Right.
So if you
Very
have a
strong.
monkey, yeah, even if you get like a smaller size, like they are
ripped.
Vicious.
Well, that's how like most dogs or not most dogs, most animals are the same. That's why the same problem with dogs. It's like they're so tiny, but we're just humans are so
weak,
squishy and weak. Everything else is so much
right, and
stronger.
we don't have like the motor reflexes. For example, like when you have a guard dog, one of the fears that you have is like, say I have it, right, and I'm just like da-da-da down the street, and one of my friends like jump scares me. My dog will react faster than I can tell it to stop.
Right. Well, right.
As it should react, but
right.
It
took like 10 years
even.
For someone to realize freaking Kike was biting me.
Right.
They just all stared.
Well, because humans don't process nearly as quickly.
Also, the second of like disbelief because of our delusional minds with dogs, like. There's
right, because you don't assume that that's what, and it's just like, but the dog reacts so much faster than a human, and that's why police dogs are great. Like, because like there's like one of the obedience training things that they do is they're like, if you move, my dog will bite you. If you move, the dog will bite you, and the dog will bite you before you could even command for it to move. Because
also
it's
we're
faster.
just like our instincts are so desensitized,
right?
Because we live in peace, love, and happiness land with
harmony,
canes, and rainbows.
You know what's crazy? People buy like Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
What's that?
Oh my! So you probably will never notice one unless you like notice them. But this is the dog. Regular schmegular looking dog, right? Hold on. And what it's known for is this ridge on its back.
Okay. Huh.
Guess what the point of why this dog exists?
Probably something nasty. Like something
It was bred in South Africa to kill fucking lions and shit.
Right. That's how they all are. Like that's like
but, like they still do that. Like they're still used for that purpose to like protect them from wildlife. From big scary shit that will, and then so it's like this dog has the capacity to fight a lion or a tiger or whatever the fuck. And
same thing.
We're just gonna have it eat at the dinner table.
Have you seen a wiener dog like get a hold of something, bro? Like a freaking wiener dog. I swear to God, like insane. Like if it really have you like. If you've seen it, like, attack anything, any rodent, just imagine your 9-month-old. Like, dude, out. Like, out. Goodbye. TKO. Your wiener dog just ruined your life. Like,
right.
Obviously, that, like, literally never happens.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, but as far as just power is concerned of these creatures.
I can't believe that we have this problem in today's society.
Yeah, I definitely could see. I'm where I'm on the fence is like the grossness of it. Like I totally understand how you could find it like absolutely disgusting. Cause like these things don't wear shoes.
And they just track that shit into your house.
And just, oof.
I mean,
they also like bathe, like. Maybe. Dude, there's some people that, like, never bathe their dog. Like, ever.
Yeah,
you know
that one's ridiculous.
And then, like, that thing's sleeping in your bed.
That's a depiction of the dog. That's its major depiction. And you want to bring that to be around kids? Not that I'm, again, like, they're very obedient and whatever.
Yeah. It's like, right. But as far as just sheer power of these creatures that we trust so much, it's just like it's so naive to say that like there's not anything that would provoke that dog to kill your kid. You know what I mean? That's
it's another thing
naive.
To say. Fuck the kid, me.
Well, yeah, that too.
I'm unlikely to provoke your dog.
Right. It could kill you.
It could just
it
not like
to.
me. It could just fuck up my face. It could take off my finger.
Yeah.
It can just bite. Like, and I think this is like where like people have like lost their minds is like you just haven't met someone that's experienced that and you're like, oh, never my dog. It's like when you're like, oh, my kid would never do that. You're fucking dumb. Like my kid would never sneak off and smoke weed. Okay. Sure.
Right.
It's like I know people get very delusional
that's why it's like
about
it's
their own
so
things.
like how could you be so naive? It's clearly and that's why it seems even more like just American and like gross that it's just we just live in such like a bubble and it's like how are you so like live in this just fantasy.
And this is what my dad said. People just like, they don't. What is it? He always says something like, people just don't experience the bad shit. Like, so he always says, like, prisons are full of people who thought nobody got caught for this shit. You just don't know the person who did.
Right.
And it's like, people think that dogs don't bite and maul people. You just haven't lived long enough to.
Right. And as soon as you are, then it's like,
and like
wow.
now, because you're going to work at a hospital, potentially in the ER, there's a bunch of shit that you would have never thought to be afraid of.
Right.
That you're going to absolutely be terrified
The nurses are always one, like, they hate motorcycles. They probably hate pets.
Same thing with police officers. Like, think about the shit that police officers and doing. Like, this is just not worth the risk.
Yeah.
And like, people, like, how many people know someone that's like died off of a motorcycle? Not many, unless that's like your thing. But like, to sit here and be like, motorcycles don't kill people.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, bad drivers kill people. Okay. What's your point? What? So because bad drive, like, you
chicken
can't,
and an egg. It's like, just,
it doesn't matter. Now someone's dead.
Yeah.
Dead for whatever reason. They're dead.
Dead. Face ripped off. Like,
dead. Arm gone.
Cooked.
Fucking
cooked. It's like, yeah, exactly. And it's just so sad that those atrocities have to happen for people to find sympathy for these things. And it's just insane that, like, grown adults can't, something that they haven't seen in front of their own eyes, cannot imagine having sympathy for these things.
Or knowing
it's like,
that it's possible.
How are you that dense? Like,
right. I mean, I think about when I was like 18 and I first went to Europe, I didn't realize how like dangerous it was. Mm-hmm. Like, the older I've gotten, the more I'm very uncomfortable with the thought of traveling by myself.
Yeah.
When I was 18, I just never really thought about how easy it would have been to just take me. Mm-hmm. Not like literally, but in the sense of like the amount of time between my check-ins with my parents, between whenever they would be able to get in touch with somebody to do something about it. Like, I could already be chopped up in a million pieces and sent to like South Africa. You know, like,
to Timbuktu.
Yeah, like, there's so much can happen with that disconnect of time. And like, I honestly, if I could put like those rice chips they put in dogs.
Rice?
I think they're like the size of a grain of rice.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I've just never heard them called rice chips. But
the
chips,
microchips,
sure,
and they chip a dog.
Yeah.
Like, if I could get one of those on me, but it's like live, like an Apple tag, I would.
Right, like if the rest of you got like cut for some reason, it like alerts.
Well, not even that. Like, if it could just constantly if I could be tracked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I would do it. Like, not like anyone could look at it any time because they want to, but like if needed, the information was available, I would put like a chip in my big toe.
I mean, that's pretty much just your phone, but
you can be separated from your phone. Like, that's the first thing being thrown out the car when you get kidnapped.
I guess.
I know you have an issue with being tracked, so. But I'm not saying like
not as much anymore.
I know, thankfully. That shit was ridiculous.
Yeah, I do think about that. Sometimes where my phone is and like how I could conceal it to.
Everyone knows you have it.
Yeah, I feel like I've actually literally had the thought before that like. Not necessarily me, but just like shoving it in your ass, like, or your coochie. You know what I mean?
Your phone?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not yours.
Yours you could probably do. It's just so like
rectangular.
Your ass is definitely not taking
right,
that.
the length isn't the issue.
It's the width. Oh my God. Absolutely not. Mine?
But if you were like in a death or liver death,
I don't think so. I honestly, I
don't know.
I want you to really look at my phone, Kira, and tell me what you think. Unprimed.
Could you imagine? That'd be a really good story, though.
I shoved my phone.
Just the headline: I shoved my phone up my ass when I got kidnapped. Gosh.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we've been holding this one back that we're certified dog haters for so long. Oh my God. Yeah. I feel like it's so unpopular. I feel like there has to be other people that feel this way, though.
Can we start a podcast?
I feel like
it's kind of
like
group?
It's like definitely not in style. But, like, it's going to be, like, a speakeasy for, like, dog haters. You know what I mean? Like a fight club
it's like,
for dog haters.
It's like
yeah, it's so nuanced. You know, you can love and hate dogs.
I love them. I can't wait to have one.
Right. Me too.
I just hate other people's usually and don't want your...
But it's like, I absolutely understand where they stand as far as...
My mom's friend came over with her dog, and, like, they were leaving, and she was like, say bye to Blue, and I was like...
Fuck you. No.
I was like... I was like, you're kidding me, right? I just, like, I don't... And you know what's the funniest thing? When you're, like, walking through the park or, like, walking across campus, and you, like, so, like, you acknowledge the dog. You're like, oh, cute dog. And, like, the person's, like, waiting for you to touch it. And, like... I feel like when I have a dog, I'm not going to want people touching my dog.
No. I don't know. Our consent with dogs is kind of interesting.
Like, I'm going to be my dog, I think I'm going to just tell people it bites. Like, it bites. Like, I don't want to, like, be fucking bothered. Like my dog is not for your...
You could just walk off. Like, just leave. I don't know.
I know. But, you know, I just think about how often Drew touches dogs versus how often I touch the dog. And, like, he'll, like, stop and pet dogs.
Well,
and I'm like...
Right. Like, I still, like, see dogs. Or I literally... Right. Like, I still, when I see dog, I'm like, ooh, dog.
Right.
Or I'm like, ooh, cutie. Ooh. When you see a puppy and you're like, ah, ooh.
Right.
Like, all my,
I feel that way about kids, too. But I just, you know, I'm not going to go touch your... Like, the thing that people actually go to, like... I'll pet them, too. Yeah. But, you know, like, there's a thing about people trying to go touch random strangers' babies and stuff. Like, it's a thing. Yeah. It's, like, apparently, like, people, like... Especially, like, they'll, like, be like, oh, like, your baby's so... And then they're like, back the...
Kind of, I don't know, yeah.
Like, I think it's, like, more of a cultural... I don't know who does that
But
shit.
that's why I feel like I'm more hesitant. Right. I feel like I'm kind of hesitant to pet dogs. Because, like, I just don't want to assume that you want your dog pet. Like...
Right.
It's your dog.
Right. And I just can't wait to tell people it bites. I can't wait to start conditioning one person at a time.
See, I feel like you shouldn't have to say it bites.
No, I know. I just want to. Okay. Like, I want the person to understand.
See, I feel like I just want to be like, I just don't think.
I just don't like when someone's
going. Like, ask.
No, I know when someone's like going for it. I just want to be like, she bites, and just let them feel stupid for just
right, and then
not
just be
thinking.
Like, you shouldn't assume that you can pet my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want them to think, and then I can tell them.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be like, no. Well, I don't know. I don't even know if I'll care, actually, but...
I'm just going to care off of principle that people just shouldn't do it.
Right.
I want them to have a little fear first.
See, I don't need that.
Can't wait. Ooh, should we talk about our horse hating?
I love horses.
I was kidding.
And they've probably fucked me up more. Not really. I've just been, like, stepped on.
Ugh.
And, like, kind of
But you know what people don't do? They don't fucking let their horse eat at the dinner table. And you know what people don't do? Just walk up to horses and touch them.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm terrified to feed horses.
Say goodbye to naners.
I'm not
I feel like horses are way more respected. They're also not, like, pranced around as much, like... I mean, they are, but I mean, like, I don't know.
Nobody's going around justifying why their horse needs to be doing human-esque act. No one's bringing it to the coffee shop. You don't know that. Anyways.
It's a doggy dog world.
It really is.
It's a doggy dog world.
It's unfortunate.
It used to be a dog eat dog world. Now it's just a doggy dog world. And a dog eat kid world.
This has been Crisis
with Kira
and Isis.